Shout out to each and every one of you. I see people are already up on my channel and they came through. They saw that the release of Snyder Cut, continue taking action piece. I'm about to do some of that. How's everybody doing today? We're going to get straight into it because I want you guys to take action. The time is very limited. And I'm going to tell you guys a couple other things about the Snyder Cut movement and what's happening with it. And it is definitely expanding. I looked at what's happening on Twitter. Twitter is just a small window of really what happened with the Snyder Cut movement because there are thousands and thousands of people. We have like almost 200,000 signatures already for the Snyder Cut petition, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot going on with the Snyder Cut movement. But let me just read from Isaiah 66, which says, "Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. Where is the house that you build unto me? Where is the place of my rest? For all those things my hands have already made, and those things which have been, says the Lord. But to this man will I look, to a man who has a contrite and poor spirit that trembles at my word." See, it's not, basically what the scripture is saying is that there's nothing you can offer goodness. There's nothing except for yourself. And when you devote yourself to living a good life, that is what matters. So I hope you guys will pursue that today. As you can see, I'm in my bedroom. This is my bed right behind me, and I'm shooting this video from there. Let's talk about the Release the Snyder Cut movement. No matter what you see, no matter what behind the scenes stuff you hear about, you must continue to take action. I don't care how favorable things seem to be moving in terms of the Snyder Cut movement in the background. We have to send a united and strong statement to Warner Brothers, which leads me now to getting into screen share immediately and into what we're going to talk about today. So let me go straight into screen share. By the way, you guys can comment in the chat section. I see some of you guys have already started commenting to my videos even before this streaming started. I see some of you guys already up in there talking, so that's funny. Invite your friends. Let's have a good old discussion. All right. So let's go into screen share in 3, in 2, in 1. Boom. We're in screen share right now. And right now you're seeing the screen with me talking. I see Jakub Brazina is here. He says first. And then he says, "I'm a glow, gaglab, the schwablab, dablad, swablad, swab, dab." And Justin Cross, he said a comment, and then he disappeared. You guys are invited to come back. And I invite everyone from the DCU to come through and talk. But I'm going to start off with Twitter. On the Twitter feed, Fiona Zhang, Release the Snyder Cut snail mail event started. This is the English version. There's the Spanish version. I'll try and get the Spanish version to you guys as well, for those of you who speak Spanish. If you look in my, I don't know if you can see this, but in the link section down below, that is my description section where it says "Let's Chat." Below that is the links to the instructions as to how to conduct your snail mail to Warner Brothers. We're trying to get all the snail mail. I know it won't happen exactly like this, but all the snail mail into Walter Hamada, the head of Warner Brothers. We want to get all those letters in on the 27th. And so let me just go into some more detail of what Fiona Zhang says here. She's the one that actually coordinated the event. She actually has a website, which is the Snyder Cut movement website. So she's trying to coordinate this. And so I would suggest very strongly that those of you, I've already done a video before about this movement and getting yourselves coordinated. You guys don't have much time. I will show you that I did my letter, which is here already. So I finished my letter as well. I have some photos of it, but I'll actually show you that I did that. Now let's just go into the details right here. So I'll just open this tab here so you guys can see it. And basically, let me just do this so it can be bigger, so you can see the whole screen. So if you look here, Release the Snyder Cut after a successful, I know I went through this before, but this is for the new ones of you guys. After a successful online release, the Snyder Cut campaign, it was successful because if you look at the petition, it's close to 200,000 people. In addition to that, we also have people streaming all day on Twitter, release the Snyder Cut. And people on Facebook, I myself have participated in that, pushing a lot of release the Snyder Cut campaigns, and even pushing this right now as a course of action. So anyway, after the successful release, the Snyder Cut campaign that we made, the world sits up and takes notice of us. To take this campaign to the next level, we need to let Warner Bros. And DC know that we're not just some digital entity. We need to show them that we're real people. So this is why the snail mail. You're actually going to do the snail mail in your own writing. Don't type it out. Do it in your own writing. Some people have typed it out. They need to really do it in their own writing. The snail mail is a copy of what basically people who were supporting the Donner cut of Superman 2 did. And they basically were following in their example, so they know there's real people. And, you know, when you have thousands and thousands of enthusiastic and happy letters, or people who are positive or trying to advocate to Warner Brothers for the release of the Snyder Cut, that's a good thing. So I need you guys to take action. We have until Monday, August 27th to get those mails into there. And I'm just going to go into some specific details about that. I'm not going to go through her entire thing, but suffice it to say, the following things we want to express: that we're willing to buy that cut, that we're willing to have other people buy that cut, and we're going to spread the good word about the cut once it comes out on home video. We're not really expecting it to be in theaters, but if you want to put it out in theaters, Warner Brothers, please take the initiative and do so. We know that behind the scenes, certain things are happening. I'm not going to talk much about that. We're just going to talk about the action, what is happening and taking place. There are other websites that are talking about that on YouTube, etc. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about what you can do, your course of action. We should all agree on this, and we should all do this. I don't care what part of the world you're in. Now, she also gave a template as to what you can put inside of the letter, so you guys can check that out. It's also done in Spanish. Okay, she has the Spanish version as well. I'm just doing the English version for you guys who need the Spanish version. Go to Fiona Zhang's Twitter. When you go to her Twitter on Twitter, you will see at the top, she's put it as the featured post. It's at the top there, and there are different versions for different parts of the world. There's the Spanish version, there's the English version. If you need the actual font to get it translated into your own language, just go contact Fiona Zhang, and she will give you the template so that you can actually convert it into your, translate it into your own language. Okay. So this is the contents here. Basically, the contents are saying that you've been supporting the DC films since they launched off in 2013 with Man of Steel. I went into more specifics on that, and you can put whatever you want, but this is just a template, and then talk about how, you know, you thought that maybe you enjoyed Justice League, maybe you didn't, whatever, be honest about it. But in the end, you're letting them know that the potential for the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's director's cut of the DC film Justice League, you're very excited about watching that. So whether you were excited about the theatrical cut, whether you were not excited about the theatrical cut, whether you were excited about the theatrical cut, watched it, supported, and etc., and then when you found out that there was other stuff and what happened behind the scenes, you got disappointed about it like me, and you really want to take action to see that Snyder Cut. Whatever it is, wherever you're coming from, put that in there. But you're excited about releasing the Snyder Cut. You want to invite friends and families to see it, multiple people. You're really excited, so excited that you're committed to purchasing a copy of that Snyder Cut. And you know, that's basically what the crux of the matter is for this. And then after that, posting the letter. This is very important. This is very important. So you can put in your picture of yourself to again, personalize it. You can put in stuff that you like. You can even create creative things, pieces of art, you know, support the Snyder Cut, whatever. You can put that stuff inside of there as well. And then in addition to that, you also have to put on the outside of the letter, you're going to keep the letter as a solid letter. You can hear the letter here. To use it with my hand, but as a solid letter, you don't want to fold the letter or anything. You're going to put it in one of those big folders. Here it is. After writing your letter and placing it in a standard envelope, either print a label or stick or write in block capitals the following address on the front of the envelope. Attention, Mr. Walter Hamada, 4000 Warner Boulevard, Building 168, Burbank, California, 91522, United States of America. All right. So after you finish, you put it in an envelope. I'm going to put it in a nice, you know, one of those office envelopes, the big ones, the brown ones. I'm going to put it in one of those. I'm not going to fold my envelope letter. Put it in one of those and put that attention. I think I'll just write it in my own handwriting again. I don't want anything. I don't want them to think that there's anything computer about me. I'm going to also have my picture in there with my face. And I've already put up on social media. Now, when you're finished, what you need to do also is you need to put up on social media. Let me see here, somewhere around here, they'll say it. Well, anyway, put up a picture of yourself. Oh, here it is. We also want you to take a selfie with your letter and post it with hashtag Release the Snyder Cut on Twitter so we can execute this plan. So if you don't have a Twitter account, get a Twitter account. And when you're finished doing your letter, right, this letter here, you can post it up on Twitter, hashtag Release the Snyder Cut. All right, that would be really awesome. Okay. In addition, I would like you guys, and that link is also down below, if you haven't signed the petition on change.org, which was started by Roberto Mata, which is a petition online to get Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, I would very much suggest you do so. The link is right now. It will be in the at the end of this video. When this video comes out, hopefully there will be in the details section, in the description section, there'll be that link and the other link, because I put them there in the description section of the video. I'm not too sure if you can see the description section right now or not, but at the end of the video, come back to this video and you just click on the details section. It should be there along with Fiona Zhang's link to Twitter. Now, these are two very important things you guys need to do, and there is actually a deadline for sending in these letters. Okay, so let me go back to what I was doing there if I can. Okay, so this is, let me see this as, yes, it has a description section below, and this is the description section right now. That even though this is streaming right now, there is a description section right here, and the links for the petition I put right here, and the link for the instruction for sending the snail mail to Walter Hamada of WB is right here. You go to Twitter, Fiona Zhang, you click on that, you click on her stuff expanded, and you can get all the instructions there. You may have to click on the Fiona Zhang link and then click on open new link in a new tab, and then you can blow it up so you can see everything, okay? All the details and stuff. It depends. I don't know if you have a phone or if you have a laptop like I have. I have a laptop right now. Okay, so let's move on to some other things. I ended up in some discussions on Twitter. Oh, by the way, let me just show you myself with this letter done so you guys can see here. I'm dead serious about this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go on my computer here and show you guys this. Hold on a second. I'll do is I'll open a folder. Yes, I'm going to go in here and show you guys in my folder. I actually did this. So here it is. It's going to come up in a minute. Computer's taking a long time to do it. I don't know why that's happening. Okay, there you go. I think you guys are seeing the screen, right? You guys are seeing that. This is me right here. This is right here. I posted it up on Twitter actually as well, but it's just taking forever to do though. It's kind of interesting. But here it is anyway. All right. So I finished my letter to Walter Hamada. I'll show you guys in real time as well. And this is a picture of me I'm going to be sending. They have maybe Cyborg next to it somewhere on the side. I may edit it to put in Cyborg, but just wanted to show you guys that so you guys can see that there. All right. You guys can always comment in the chat section whenever you're ready. I see nobody's commenting in the chat section, which is okay. That's cool as well. All right, let me go back here. Now, some people wanted to deny that the Snyder Cut exists. What they were saying was, which mean a completed Snyder Cut. And they were like, you know, it's just an assembly cut of Zack Snyder's movie. And here's all the evidence to support the fact that that is not so. It's not an assembly cut. It's not just something slashed together with incoherent scenes like these people want to make it out to be. I hear some people say it's a mythical cut out there. All of that is false. And how do we know this? The first things I want to show you are some of the scenes that we know were elaborate scenes. They were elaborate stuff. There was no real special effects to them. And they were just completely removed from the movie and reshot by Joss Whedon scenes. And this is one of them, where we knew that from way back, from almost the very first trailer of Justice League, we saw Diana having a conversation with Bruce Wayne about recruiting the other people that they had followed up, and they were talking about Aquaman. This scene was completely cut from the movie, and a lot of details from the scene where Diana actually enters into the Batcave, talks with Bruce Wayne, and they have this elaborate conversation about the age of heroes and all of that. The next time we see it, all of that was cut out of the movie, and we know that those scenes were in the original cut of the movie. And then we have some Joss Whedon scenes that are introduced where they're walking along the sides of the lake, and they're having this conversation about Steppenwolf and all these things. And we know Joss Whedon had to introduce those scenes because they wanted to hurry the movie along, because it had a certain time limit, a time lapse for it. And so we know that when we look at these scenes with Gal and with Bruce, and the little comedy that's in between them, which is more subtle, which is more Zack Snyderish, we know that stuff, we know, first of all, we know that Zack Snyder shot 100% principal photography, which means that everything that he needed, and Jay Oliver even said this, everything from the storyboard was done. So we knew that for a fact. So that this stuff that was actually presented in trailers afterwards was actually going to be in the movie. And we saw it up to the sneak peek where we saw Diana talking with Bruce about the age of heroes. All right. So that was all the way up to there. Now let's just keep it moving. I want to show you guys why this was a completed, almost completed cut. Okay, maybe it needed some soundtracks in there. Maybe it needed some post effects or post production effects done to it, and not in the way that people think post effects, but more as into polishing of the post production effects. It was actually a fact that when we saw earlier on some of the post-production that was not left in the film, that were deleted out, like the Flash scenes and the Cyborg scenes that we saw where he was taking flight, which were not completed, and all the other scenes we could see they were completed in terms of skinning and putting on effects and stuff. What we noticed is that even with those Cyborg flight scenes, which didn't seem like they were finished, or even the scenes where he was collecting the Motherbacks while the Parademons were around, those were earlier stuff still. And that it's possible that when Zack was doing the post-production work with Aquaman and stuff that we saw when he shot something and showed it on Vero, that stuff could have been polished up all then, or maybe even afterwards. Why I say this is because some of the post-production work that we saw in the sneak peek, it was polished up somewhat when we saw later parts. So they were polishing up on stuff. I don't think that it was that they had to do renders anymore. It was, well, they had to do renders. What I mean is like render real frames and put skins on things. I don't even think that was the problem. I think it was more touching up the stuff. So it literally, when Zack screened, just talking with somebody who has seen screenings of movies. So if you've ever been someone who's been privileged to see a screening of a movie, for instance, right, you would know that certain CGI is not finished. For instance, when we looked at, say, the first trailer of Justice League, where they were introducing the different characters, when we saw Cyborg, his render didn't look perfectly perfect. It still looked kind of uncanny valley, right? But he was rendered, right? I believe this is the case that's happening with these movies. Like when James Wan put out in Comic-Con last year, Aquaman, he wasn't finished with the render of what we saw for Aquaman, okay? And so some of the scenes were unpolished. When we look at, for instance, James Wan's trailer of Aquaman very recently, the scenes are still not fully polished, even though he's advertising these scenes all over the place. They're not fully polished scenes, clearly. They're not finished, right? And I believe this is the sort of thing that we're talking about when we talk about the Snyder Cut. There is a cut. Literally, there is a finished cut, like finished. What I mean by that is, everything storyboarded, all the scenes are in there. It looks like a movie, but it's not polished. What I mean by that is the scenes which don't have CGI and stuff that you have to worry about, they're fine. But the scenes where, you still need to work on the CG, and sometimes you have still some wireframe things, but it's basically just to be simulated. The animations are all done and everything. Those scenes are done. Like the majority of the work is done. So that's what people have been saying in the Snyder Cut movie for the longest while, and they've been breaking down the schematics of the thing because they had insiders who are talking to them, and that's why they could put up the videos. Or some of them are actually insiders doing it anonymously. Okay, and so that's what I realized. And so when I was in denial about this stuff, it was because I didn't have any verifiable proof from any verifiable source. But now that the verifiable sources have come out, and then we've seen the deleted scenes from Superman that Warner Bros. So intelligently put in their Blu-ray, if they hadn't done that, they would never have brought this to our attention. And then showed the black suit on top of that. So it was like an afterthought after the theatrical release was put out. And to me, it was the stupidest thing you could ever possibly do, because it's so enriching the scene. It's so brought forth the beauty of Superman that now when we look at Superman in Justice League theatrical cut, he looks like such a sham compared to that Superman with the weight and depth behind it. It got me very angry, right? But everything, I'm going to show you guys a couple other things, because I feel like the people who are in denial about this, they are in vehement denial. Even the Wall Street Journal piece that was put out very recently, you know, the Wall Street Journal piece that was put out very recently is such a sham of a piece, because they never cite any particular name. They never name any person who is saying that the cut doesn't exist. They talk about people who worked on Justice League saying, well, the no cut exists. It doesn't exist. Which people are these? Who are these anonymous people you're talking about? Why can't you name their names? You talk about executives saying that they're these executives that talk, executives, they never said that there is no cut, by the way. The executives just say they didn't emphasize on that. They're trying to promote the future films right now. That's what he said, an executive. Why can't you name these executives' names? Why is it that these people are anonymous? Why can't they be on record? And so Ben Fritz's article is a sham of an article, because there is, when you try to cite things, and you know, there was this alleged claim that Zack Snyder was helping Joss Whedon with the you know, the reshoots, and that a lot of the reshoots that happened, Zack signed on them. Yet Zack has no clue about the Russian family, and we see that he's saying, like, what Russian family? If he's working with Joss Whedon so well, why is it he? And then Zack made a public statement saying that he had stepped away from Justice League and left it in people's, friends, and family's hands. And really, he has no input in it. So Zack makes those statements in the public forum, okay? But yet there's this anonymous claim by anonymous people working in the industry with Zack on the movie that he was working with Whedon. Oh, no, we said that Whedon was doing some script rewrites for the movie. We know about that. Just as how Zack was working to some degree with James Wan before Justice League came out, you know, trying to assist him in whatever way with whatever he was doing, just like he's working with Patty Jenkins. But we know post Justice League, the story has changed. It's not like James Wan is working with Zack Snyder all now, even though Zack Snyder is very interested in seeing what kind of Aquaman movie we get. But it's obvious that Warner Brothers has again put their fingers in James Wan's stuff, and all the people trying to say, oh, James Wan, you know, there's this rumor going on out there. You know, James Wan turned down, you know, a Warner Brothers movie of, you know, because he wanted full control over the movie, and he got that. Where do you have your information from? Nobody can cite a source to me on that. What I can cite from sources I've seen is that James Wan did turn down The Flash, and he gave reasons why he wanted to do Aquaman, and he gave those reasons which did not involve total creative control of Aquaman. He never said anything like that. So where are you guys getting this information? You're making things up, and that's my problem. Why do you guys have to make up things? Even with people with the Snyder Cut movement before, they were making up stuff. And I was like, that's not verifiable. Where are you getting this information from? Anyways, so continuing onwards, I want to show you stuff. So these are completed scenes. We know these are completed scenes. We've seen pieces of these completed scenes in various trailers, and they clearly are completed scenes. Okay, shot. Let's keep it moving. This was a completed scene, and we know parts of this scene were cut out of the movie. A lot of them. Okay, this was chopped to shreds. We've seen conversations Wonder Woman had with the team before they jump across. We see Cyborg having a conversation with Batman before they jump across. Now, when I was arguing for this scene, I said, some of this stuff would have been redundant and unnecessary. And now I changed my tune. I really realize now that there was actually more depth to these scenes because these characters were speaking about their shortcomings and their failings and their fears. And so the context of the Flash talking to Batman doesn't seem as funny. It has even more depth to it if you had the conversations with these guys going up the steps, if you had the conversation with these guys about to face their adversary and Wonder Woman telling them certain instructions as they moved forward. We got none of that, folks. None of it. Okay? It was removed. And don't tell me it's an assembly cut and it wasn't finished, because we all know we've seen the scenes. So there was actually extended work on this stuff that would have added more depth to it. Okay? So it wasn't that the scenes weren't finished. It was that the executives wanted a certain runtime for the movie and they wanted it to be more childish. And they thought that by enlarging these scenes and making them longer, it would have made people bored, like BVS. So it's the executives who made the decision. I do not believe Joss Whedon had anything to do with necessarily the decision making in that. They just wanted them to cut down the film like they did with Zack Snyder's BVS. Okay, that's what went down. Okay, and for those people who are lying about that and saying there's no cut, well, guess what? You just said that the majority of Justice League was Zack Snyder's movie, right? That's what you guys say. So therefore, there had to be a cut. Because if things are being cut out, it means Zack had more material, which means Zack actually had a finished thing. The other thing is, you can't have reshoots if the majority of your principal photography is not done and not already sitting there doing well. You put reshoots to get, as Jay Oliver said, 1% of the movie back on track. So $25 million. Remember, Justice League was supposed to cost $275 million, and it was up on different sites. So $25 million, because according to them, the unofficial number is $300 million that it cost for the movie. $25 million was spent on reshoots. $25 million was spent on reshoots that did not need to happen. I'll point out my point. I'll point out why those reshoots were subpar to what the actual movie was about. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about, because Warner Brothers wanted to do runtime, right? They wanted a shorter movie. So stupid. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. By the way, this scene was also cut out of the film. And note some things. Note that Cyborg CGI, while not perfect, is much better than the CGI we saw at the beginning. Which means if this scene was in the movie, folks, if this scene was in the movie and we saw it in the sneak peek and we saw it in the trailers, it means the scene was done already, folks. It was done. This was a done deal. This scene was finished already. But it was cut out in the movie. See, when they talk about Zack Snyder's stuff wasn't finished, well, if it wasn't finished, why are we seeing these scenes? No, they were finished, but they were cut out of the movie. Some of the scenes we never saw in the trailers were not finished, right? Now they will say, oh, but the scene with the Flash pushing his finger through the thing and breaking the glass, that wasn't finished. Actually, you don't know if it wasn't finished. What you saw was part of the deleted scene and the earlier mapping and making out of it. We don't know if that scene wasn't finished. That could just be a behind the stuff to show people how the scene was made. You don't know if that post-production wasn't done. Because we saw two scenes, I recall, where it looked like they weren't finished scenes from Justice League. All right, when you saw the behind the scenes stuff of the making of them. But then when you look, like, you realize they were completed scenes already. All right. And it came from certain production companies and stuff, but they just leaked it out to show that how much they worked on the scene. Okay. So that's something you guys have to bear in mind, because once you animate a parademon or you animate a character, obviously you can continue to put the skin and everything else on that character. It doesn't cost any money for that, because it's animated already. So it's now just about just skinning it, making sure the light hits it properly, and so on. Let's go through some other things. So this scene is actually more than likely a completed scene. No work needs to be done on that. Let's keep it moving. By the way, I just want to blow this up just for fun. Okay. Remember this scene? Now, this is from behind the scenes footage. This is not exactly. These scenes were supposed to be in the movie as well, telling us that the movie had more depth, it had more weight, it had more width, folks. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to the point. All these people talking about, it was a cut, and the Warner Brothers executives didn't like it, and so probably some executives didn't like it and murmured about it. That's possible. It's a rumor, but apparently some of those, the same executives that didn't like it, liked the Justice League cut that came out in theaters. Now here's the thing. The executives who said they liked that cut that came out in theaters, was that cut that came out in theaters a finished, completed cut? Let me hear what you guys got to say about that. Was that a completed cut? Remember this scene? I'm showing you all the scenes that were not, and these were completed scenes. Again, all of these scenes were extensions of the scenes we already shot with the originals in them. So that means there were no reshoots in those scenes, okay, to shorten them up. It wasn't that Zack Snyder's film wasn't done with the scenes I just showed you. It's that those scenes were longer and involved a lot more detail in them, and Warner Bros. Wanted to shorten them up. It's not that those scenes weren't finished or almost finished. So to tell me that there was just an assembly cut and it wasn't good at all, it was raw, it was unwatchable, is a lie. Because the present Justice League that we see is a shortened down, part reshot version of already shot material that's already done post-production work on of Zack Snyder's vision. It's an abridged version. Everything in that Justice League movie, barring the Russian family scenes, are just simply reshots of an already shot and finished or almost close to finished stuff of the Justice League movie. The Justice League is more than that. Much more and much better. I'll prove my point again. So let's keep it moving. So this was here. Mark McClure was obviously recasted in the Justice League movie. He was actually in this, and we know from the trailer that Cyborg blocked him. This was from official trailer 1. This is way back. This stuff was already finished. We could see Cyborg, and yeah, okay, CGI wasn't perfect, but it was rendered, meaning it was watchable. Meaning if you were to watch the Justice League movie, it was much better than Henry Cavill's lip. Let's get there. Let's get to the rendering stuff, because it's important to understand the rendering is superior to anything we saw in the theatrical cut. That's the important thing. So when they say it was unwatchable and it wasn't, then what the hell are you talking about? I'll prove my point. I'll prove my point. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, folks. Let's get to it. So when we look at the rendering of the CGI, this is the rendering for Zack Snyder. This is from, I'm not too sure if this wasn't from, I think this is from official trailer number 1. I don't think it was the sneak peek, okay, where the Flash is running. I think he might have been running in the sneak peek as well. But very importantly, this render, while not as clear as this render, is definitely a superior render to this, because it gives you the feeling of the Speed Force he's in. This is a superior render. And not to mention, the shots that were in this render are better than the shots in this render, where he actually speeds across the city and you actually see him run across the city through the Speed Force, right? So getting Zack's vision is just superior to the reshot or the re-rendering of the CGI division, okay? It's cheaper looking, okay? Then that's with the CG end of the spectrum, okay? The rendering, and we'll go into that a lot more. But let's just talk about filming. From the filming perspective, this was Zack Snyder's fully shot scene, which, because all principal photography is done, fully shot scene of Martha and Lewis. And Joss Whedon went and reshot this scene and cheapened it up with jokes. Now you tell me, you prefer the so-called quote-unquote assembly cut, or you prefer the incomplete, but the executives all rated it, Whedonized cut? Which one do you prefer? Let's be real here. You want to talk about finished cuts and that, we shouldn't release the Snyder cut because it's not finished? Okay, if it's not finished, what the hell did we get for the theatrical cut? Because If you're saying the Snyder Cut's not finished, then what the heck did we get in the theatrical cut? Because that sure as hell wasn't finished. And it was subpar and inconsistent with what we got in the DCU so far. But let's keep it going. Because see, the difference between me and other people is I show you the stuff in front of your face. So you can't say nothing at the end of my video because I'm showing you. Remember this? This was the scene from the official trailer #1 where Aquaman falls down on the Batmobile and says, "Yeah!" Looked cool, didn't it? It looked cool as hell. That was Zack Snyder. Oh, sorry, my bad. I gotta come out. Hold on a second, folks. This was dope. Here's the Whedonized version. Look at the Whedonized version. The goopty guy on the side right here. Can't even see Aquaman's face when he says, yeah. The angle, the thing was from the side and then it come up straight on. It just, when you saw it in the movie, it took out of it. It didn't feel know-how. Everything was lost. Not to mention the details are lost as well. Now you tell me, the reshot version and re-rendered version of Aquaman jumping on the Batmobile, which one you prefer? This version? I just want to know, which one you guys prefer? This version or you prefer this version? Look at that. A lot more detail to hoot and featured Aquaman doing something cool. Which one you prefer? You tell me. You tell me. And I love the angle and everything with Batman sitting so low in the Batmobile and everything. Not to mention how Batman looked in the Batmobile when he was kind of bobbing around like a little Bob doll head. And then he says, you know, I don't have a pitchfork, which we know was Whedonized, right? Whereas in the Snyderized version, we saw him just nod to Aquaman. Aquaman leaps up in the air, right? And takes on the Parademon. And he leaps up in the air, not like the typical superhero BS. Nah, homie. Snyder. You could see in earnest Aquaman here, or Arthur Curry. He's earnestly afraid. He's like, honestly, man, I think we're all going to die. You could see he's concerned because generally Aquaman's a badass. Generally, Aquaman's kind of more of an angry dude. He don't play around, right? We know this from the New 52. We know this from all kinds of different versions. Aquaman don't play around, all right? He's not a spoof dude. He's not a freaking spoof like this. Whedonized version, just laughing around. Yeah, you know, I think we all going to die. And he's making jokes. That's what Whedon did to Aquaman. He made him into a spoof. This is a spoof here. Look how he even sitting now. He looked like a joke. He made Aquaman into a joke. And that's all we can keep on doing, mocking the characters. He had no respect for Wonder Woman. He wanted in his extended cut of the rooftop scene to have the thief, the robber, just be humiliating Batman by hurling jokes. That's all we can be doing straight through. He disrespected Wonder Woman. He made Flash into a joke. He made Aquaman into a joke. You know, I wouldn't be surprised he wanted to make a joke out of Cyborg too. And that's what the MCU does. They take heroes and they don't treat them with no respect. They took Doctor Strange and made him into a joke. Took little Spider-Boy, made him into a joke. Made Thor into a joke. That's what they do. This is Aquaman from Snyder's trailer. Now, how could Aquaman go from smiling to just becoming very serious here? How come he's so serious here? See what I'm saying? See, you know Whedon went in and just messed up the character, which Zack Snyder wanted certain things to be funny, but in line with the character. There's no respect for the characters. We're going to keep it moving. So when people say, oh, there wasn't no Snyder cut, it's just assembly cut. Well, what's this in front of us? Why did we have to reshoot it is the question. Because the execs wanted a shorter, funnier movie for the kiddies. That's why. I'm not going to say no more, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that was said by many different people who actually had conversations with certain people in the business. There's other stuff going on behind the scenes you guys don't know about. And since it's not verifiable, I'm not going to use it. But trust me in this. When I say to you guys that absolutely there's a cut of Justice League, absolutely it's a watchable cut. And that's from way back. And of course, we can take the word of Jason Momoa, Jay Oliver, Zack Snyder, Clay Enos, Fabian Wagner, Ciarán Hinds, Ray Fisher. We could take these guys' words when they said there is a cut. They saw it. Some of them saw it, and they understood what Zack's vision is, and it's better than what we got in the theaters. Okay, all of them said that. And quite frankly, as one of the reviewers and film critics, Armond White, said, the cut we saw in the theaters was an incomplete cut. So therefore, anything that Zack Snyder does from this point is better than that. Okay? So at the end of the day, I don't want to hear it. The reason why Jay Oliver keeps on saying, just release the cut as it is then. Just release it. If it's not completed, no problem. We're not arguing that. Just release what it is, because he knows it's mostly done. He knows it's mostly done. But Zack Snyder, of course, is a perfectionist, so he'll be working on things to get it to the top quality he would want it to be. But at the end of the day, of course it's mostly done. And of course it's much more grander and much more bigger and much more better than what we saw in the theatrical cut. And mind you, let me just make it abundantly clear. I'm not saying the theatrical cut is a bad movie. I'm just saying when you compare it to BVS, Man of Steel, the other two works that Zack Snyder did, it fails in comparison. I'm not saying there are not connections. I still maintain this. There are connections to the trilogy. And, the people being absolute and saying there's no connections to the trilogy. Of course there's connections, because Zack Snyder did the majority of that movie still. Whedon just did a lot of unnecessary stuff that was not necessary. On top of, why couldn't you just keep what Zack Snyder had and shorten up the film? That even would have been good. There was no need for Joss Whedon, as everybody said. They were right. There was no need for this guy. This guy actually brought the film down, the film quality especially. And all this talk about the chemistry between characters and that Whedon would have made it better, that the history shoots made it better, it's not true at all. You get more depth with Zack Snyder. If you guys saw even the deleted Superman scene, if you guys even saw some of the scene that we saw with Batman and Bruce Wayne and Diana, which Zack shot. The scenes where actually we had Bruce and Diana, where Zack shot that, actually had more weight than and felt more like the characters than the scenes where Joss Whedon actually worked it. Now, mind you, I was supporting the theatrical run all the way down, right? All in the home release and stuff. Until I saw that deleted scene, it really was a slap in the face. And if you look at Warner Brothers up to this point, and I make this very clear, and I want to talk about the direction Warner Brothers is going in very soon. Trust me, I'm going to talk about that. How they're trying to Marvelize this universe. And like some people are even talking about World of DC as being, World of DC being the renaming of the DCEU. They never said that. They put up a banner saying welcome to the world of DC. Yes, but that banner was there since last year. And the same set of DC characters going all around the room, Hall H. So it's nothing new. Now, people want to rename the DCU and say it's dead and all of that and all. You know why that's pushing? There's a certain person inside of the industry who's pushing that. I think you guys know who I'm talking about, okay? And the point behind it is, these people want the DCEU to fall. They want the DCU to fail. They want Zack Snyder's vision to just be nothing. Okay, and Christopher Nolan and David Goyer. I heard a guy tell me, well, the universe was failing, so they tried. They worked on. They have to go in this direction of Marvelizing it because it's failing. And I said, oh, it's failing, huh? So that's why they did Justice League, right? They brought a Marvel director to do Justice League to Marvelize the universe. How did that work out? The universe was failing, right? So it's working now. You think Marvelizing it will make it work now? Anyway, I'm gonna go back to what I'm saying. Justice League didn't do very well. And if they Marvelize this universe, I can guarantee you people like myself will not be supporting it. And we are the lifeblood. Okay. If you guys see how many Snyder Cut fans are behind this thing, why did the Snyder Cut fans they hated Justice League? Why did they hate it? Because it was Marvelizing. It was Marvelizing the universe. They don't like that. They want the characters treated with respect. And when you Marvelize a universe, you're looking to make jokes. You're not looking to treat the characters with respect. For all the stuff people talk about Wonder Woman, which is still not one of the top DCU films on my slate. And they might say, it had some Marvelized elements to it. Okay, fine. It had some Marvelized elements to it. It was inspired by Little Mermaid a little bit. So Disney was up in there. But at the end of the day, the one thing Patty Jenkins did was she treated Wonder Woman with respect. She was smart enough to listen. Zack Snyder got awards for the story because Zack Snyder's story is what was put on there, not Geoff Johns. Geoff Johns was part of the creative process, and he's trying to take credit for certain things in Wonder Woman. But at the end of the day, it wasn't Zack Snyder. It wasn't Geoff Johns' story. It was Zack Snyder's story. Because Zack Snyder treats the characters with respect. And so at the end of the day, because of that, that movie made huge inroads and got people's attention. But what we are seeing being introduced into the DCU does not look good. It does not look good. It's not a good look. Because the characters are not being treated with respect. The same Aquaman. I told a guy who was trying to challenge me, I said, Mira disrespected Aquaman's intelligence in that trailer, and you just sit back there and just take that. That's a Whedon-esque joke. That is something Whedon and the MCU would do. Disrespect a character like that. And so all I'm saying to you is, I know they're going to trying to go the Marvel route with Aquaman. They're trying. And you know the strangest thing? Walter Hamada said, you know what, Marvel is good at what they do, but we need to stick to what we do best. That's what Walter Hamada said when he came into prominence. And now they're going back to doing the same shit. I can't listen. I can't trust none of them. Tommy Emmerich, I can't trust him. I can't trust Walter Hamada. I can't trust these guys because they'll sing the tune you want to hear. Remember Tommy Emmerich said back in the day, oh, we're not going to change Zack Snyder's tone. His tone and the mode for the film is going to stay the same. Oh, but you did. You changed his tone and you chopped up his film. There's no cyborg story in the film. And Zack spent a lot of time in principal photography and otherwise developing Cyborg's story. I've seen all the behind the scenes deleted scenes with Cyborg and his effects and what was going to happen, how Cyborg was going to use himself and the potential of Cyborg and how Cyborg was so key to the movie and so many other variables to Cyborg that surrounded this movie. After seeing all of that deleted footage, you going to tell me that nonsense again? They lied to us, man. That's what gets me angry because I now have a lot of information on them to show that they lied. They straight up jacked us. And then when Warner Brothers home release came out and said, support Green Lantern on Blu-ray, came out with that joke, the Warner Brothers home release. We know Geoff Johns is behind that too because Geoff Johns is the guy going to write for Green Lantern. They try to punk us and they try to make a joke on us. The people who are DCU fans, they're trying to punk us and say, hey, look, we're going to make a joke about Green Lantern and couple it to Deadpool in your face. We don't care about you fans. We're going to punk you fans. Like Disney does to the MCU fans. The difference between us and Disney fans is we just come back with release the Snyder Cut. We come in their face. And guess what, Warner Brothers? If you keep on punking us, we will not support you. Because we're not going to see crappy films. We're not like MCU fans. We do not go see crappy films that we don't like. We're not going to support something we don't like MCU fans. You should have known that from the time Justice League came out. But you have a certain attitude, an aloof attitude. Let's keep it moving. Okay. Remember the scene from the sneak peek? Was this from the sneak? Yes, this was from the sneak peek. Batman leaping into the silo. So sick and glorious. Now, this was from the original Snyder Cut. We ended up with this. Look at that. It's terrible. It's atrocious. This is what we ended up with. From grand to subpar. And incomplete. This stuff does not look complete. And it doesn't even follow the laws of physics. Terrible. What is all this stuff in there? Horrible. This render was terrible. So we go down in quality. And you want to tell me about an unfinished ensemble cut? Get out of here, man. Get out of here. This was the old footage from the sneak peek where Aquaman says, all right. And this is what we ended up with the Whedon cut. Some kind of muddy looking surroundings with this weird lighting. This looked very realistic and real, where Aquaman leaps off the Batmobile with 2 feet as he slams into a parademon. And now we get this typical superhero move, which Whedon-esque, with this weird looking sky and this purple shit in the background. And you're going to tell me, which I hate that purple shit, you're going to tell me that was superior to what we were getting? This wasn't even finished, and yet this looks better than that. What the hell is made of the road? It's made of mud. This is shiny. This at least looks like it's a concrete road. What the heck is that? So they so wanted to not, make scared the kiddies that they shortchanged themselves in the theater, and they got nothing for it. Because these executives are hell-bent on trying to copy what Marvel has and listening to Jeff freaking ass Johns. Okay? That's why he's fired from his executive position. All right? He's listening to Jeff Johns, of all people, who does not get what Zack Snyder was doing. He doesn't get it. Zack Snyder was trying to create a realistic universe, telling stories. And yes, you may have all these different characters and stuff, but you listen to the critics, you listen to the bloggers, you listen to insiders who do not make movies. They don't. They may do TV shows. They may write comic books, but they don't do movies. And they don't get what is being done and why people in the DCU like it. It just so happens there's a demographic that does not like the MCU. That's why when the DCU came out, they're there vehemently defending those movies. They love the movies. That's why you made bank on BVS. That's why you made bank on Man of Steel, because you appealed to a certain demographic that was growing. Just like the Release the Snyder Cut movie is growing. I was against the Release the Snyder Cut movement, and now I'm for it. How is that possible? It's growing. Because the people realize what direction you're trying to head in, Warner Brothers, and they do not support it. They're not going to put out their money to see a Marvel film because they left Marvel to come to you because you offered something different. And you're trying to do exactly what Marvel is doing, which is dumb. It works for Marvel. It will never work for Warner Brothers. Never, never. And when you think that Wonder Woman worked, it was because Zack Snyder was with Wonder Woman. And because Wonder Woman was that kind of movie where you could allow for such things. Suspension of belief and some humor. Now all your DCEU movies are going to be humor-filled. I don't even hear anything about Matt Reeves' Batman. Matt Reeves is trying to do a dark Batman film. He's trying to do a film noir. You guys don't want to hear about that. You only want jokes, jokes, jokes. So you stack in jokes in Aquaman that don't fit the character. And you have Shazam jokes, which are okay for Shazam, except the Shazam adult, I still haven't seen him as street smart. Billy Batson's street smart. Clearly he is. He can drive cars. He knows how to get out of trouble. And he don't have a problem cheap shotting people. Shazam should be doing the same thing because it's Billy Batson, just a bigger version of him. And I saw pieces of it where he kicked the criminal out of there. But he ain't supposed to be in so much awe. He's supposed to be street smart. And he's supposed to move Shazam in a street smart sort of way. So we'll see. I think the jury's out on Shazam. I ain't got nothing to say about Shazam. I'm saying things about Aquaman because it looks like James Wan's vision is being changed by you executives. You need to leave. You need to leave James Wan the hell alone. Let James Wan do what James Wan want to do. Leave him alone. Don't tie his feet. Let him do what he wants to do. I don't want no Marvel looking, MCU looking film. I don't want it. I left the MCU so that I don't have to see that shit. I don't want to see it. But if James Wan wants to have a look like that, that's different. I can't do anything about that. That's what James Wan wants. Then I see Warner Bros. Hiring certain directors, Spider-Man Homecoming directors. They want to hire James Gunn. That's a rumor that's out there. I don't know how true it is. They wanted Whedon online. Okay. Why are you trying to pull in all these Marvel directors? What you trying to make a Marvel film? What are you doing? There are other directors out there. So I don't understand why they tend to want to go towards Marvel all the time. Why don't you want to be comfortable in your own skin? Why don't you want to do you? Yes, you're going to get flack for it, but once people get used to you, they'll understand what you can bring to the table. Just as how Fox is Fox. Fox wasn't trying to be Disney, but now I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Because now Fox has been bought over by Disney. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I feel for Fox. But Universal is Universal, doing their own thing. You got to do you. Warner Brothers. You've always succeeded at doing Warner Brothers. You have not succeeded at trying to be something you're not. When they try to succeed to do something you're not. Post Tim Burton world for Warner Brothers has always been realistic as possible, gritty as possible. Okay. Keeping a certain gravity and seriousness to depths to the characters. When you're straight from that, you did it with Superman Returns, trying to get to capture the Christopher Reeves era, which is gone since the first Richard Donner movie. The second one didn't do well because they compromised Richard Donner and all the rest flopped. And Supergirl, you should have learned a lesson from there. Okay. But you didn't. You went back and you tried to do Green Lantern. You had your good buddy, Jeff Johns, giving you the advice and counsel and running the ship on that. It flopped. Same thing with Superman Returns. Okay. You tried to do in 1997 Batman and Robin. After you kicked off Tim Burton, you did Batman Forever. That did a little bit better than Tim Burton's Batman Returns. So you thought that was the okay to be full stream, just making fun of the characters, right? And having the kiddies going there and watch it. Backfired majorly. You should have learned your lesson, but you never did. And you still persist. You executives still persist along the dumbest lines. And I just don't get it. Why would you want to do something stupid like that? I don't know. But that's just the way how you guys are. You like to do stupid things. So you're going again down that line. You got directors from Spider-Man Homecoming to do the Flash because you want jokes. Flash is now just a butt of jokes. He's just a jokester straight through. He's not a nerd anymore. He's not scientifically minded. It's not about talking about the science of, the movement and what is happening and what's the repercussions of it. Nah, forget all that. Just make it funny. We're just going to have Shazam all day long through the comics. Aquaman's going to be funny. The Flash is going to be funny. It's going to be a hoot, folks. Jokes, jokes, jokes. Fun, fun, fun. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. So instead of getting a cyborg that was much more like a machine and human, we got this. Substandard. It's okay, Alfred. I'll take it for her. The quality fell. And by the way, the CGI on this was better than the CGI on that, by the way, in the movie. I'm just saying. Instead of getting this character for Bruce Wayne, which I actually said was the same character here, but you can just see there's a different hairstyle here. So this is a reshoot, clearly. Instead of getting a tougher Aquaman, what do we get? We get a more toned down Aquaman. A jokey, goofy Aquaman. A Whedon-esque Aquaman. Instead of getting this Superman all the way through that shot, we got this weird looking, funny looking thing. With hair all here. You see these little hair on it. And a funny looking mouth. And they can't even do CG properly. Look at this CG. It's horrible. What do? You coat this guy's face with what? Plastic? Jeez. Ages. You can see this is reshot. We need this different, even different color and everything. We saw this already. That was reshot. Even the Aquaman footage was reshot. This is why they were calling Batman. You know, the Snyder fans had already seen this very quickly, that this was a fatter Batman. Terrible. Everything subpar. This was the Flash. This was the Whedonist Flash. It was going to get this badass look. Instead, we got that. It's like Whedon cheapened everything. Everything. This looked more menacing. This looks like, I don't know what this is, a doll in a factory. Where are you going? All right. You okay? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Wow. We have a real Henry Cavill's face, and we have signs from the crypt. Some weird ass looking stuff there. This is the actual scene where the League actually talks about the mother box. We got a Whedonized version. This is the final scene at the end of the movie. You see Diana here, much more serious. And we get this instead. The upside down weird looking thing. Like I said before, this looked better. And of course, this looks superior to this crap here. Okay. So I remember arguing that, you know, this was probably a Snyder shot. I must have been on Kool-Aid or something, because clearly Zack Snyder has much more detail in his shots and just much better cinematography all around. Right. So just imagine people talking about an assembly cut and it's going to be inferior from all the evidence, immense amount of evidence we have in the actual cut compared to the previous iterations of the exact scenes of the characters. Zack Snyder's stuff seems to be superior every single time. Much more eye-catching, much more superior and finished. Finished. Renderings finished. Finished stuff we're seeing. Can't refute this evidence, right? You can't refute what I'm saying, right? Can't. Let's look at it again. Aquaman. Zack Snyder's Aquaman. Look at that. Whedon Aquaman. Look like a freaking joke. And that's the Aquaman they're trying to give us for Aquaman's movie? You serious? And get the hell out of here. Look at this. Much more serious, much better looking. I don't know what that was. Again, the part down the middle of the hair, different hairstyle altogether. Zack Snyder's Bruce Wayne looks more menacing, as he should be, more fearless. Zack Snyder's Bruce Wayne here, Whedon's Bruce Wayne. Okay. Aquaman, Whedon. And the weird thing is Zack Snyder was a fan of Whedon. I don't know if he still is, because they undermined him with Whedon. And Jeff Johns is the guy that brought in Whedon out here. Again, Jeff Johns being the guy trying to undermine Zack Snyder all the way through this whole thing. That's why we had this negative press about Zack Snyder inside, because the guy who was doing that was Jeff Johns, who majorly screwed over Justice League. Majorly screwed it over. And Jeff Johns has his way once again. He had his way with Green Lantern. He had his way with Superman Returns. He's got his way with the DCEU once again. His grimy hands are on everything. That's not his role. He should stay in his lane. So I wanted to show you guys this stuff. Because I thought to myself, this is worth talking about. I want to see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Man, you guys are going in the comment section. All right, hold on a second. Let me come out of this. So I want to see what you guys are saying in the comment section, because I see you guys chatting up a storm. I'm going to listen to what you guys are saying, but just let me just show you guys that I have here. This is my, I don't know if you guys can see it. Like it's back from front end. Oh, no. I'm seeing it back from. There's my letter to Walter Hamada. The details of the letter, if you guys want to know, I can always tell you guys. I'm not going to read it to you guys right now. But this is the back of the letter there. And this will be posted very soon. Okay? It will be posted very soon. Notice it's in my own handwriting. All right? So I'm dead serious about this. I was as honest as I could possibly be. I wasn't all positive, I'll be honest with you, but I tried not to be abusive or anything like that. But there are going to be thousands and thousands of letters coming in to Walter Hamada from people. But you guys don't have a whole bunch of time. I have till the 22nd, according to the information, to get mine posted off. Then I'll post it off a couple of days before that. My letter comes in earlier, that doesn't matter. But it's important that you guys just swamp them with letters. That's the next scale. And also, you guys need to swamp the petition. Make sure all the people who support the Snyder Cut, they sign that petition. It doesn't matter if you agree fully with the Snyder Cut movement or not. It's just important you guys swamp that stuff. Let me go to you guys' comments here and see what you guys have to say. You guys have so much to say. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say. So let's just get to it. DJ Lost and Found says you should send Hamada your YouTube info. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. DJ Lost and Phone says they need to hear from us with true and raw emotion. I agree, man. You know, and this is why I even do these videos. I'm sure the people, you know, Warner Bros. Is aware of what we're doing. DJ Lost and Found says the more info that is released, you have to start believing that the Snyder Cut is nearly finished. Oh, the Snyder Cut, man. Let me put it this way. It's a lot more finished than people think. And I would not be surprised, whether it's being worked on or not, that things are still behind the scenes going on concerning that cut. I'm not going to say anything else about that. But we're working on seeing that happen sooner more than later. We're not going to wait no 10 years for no damn cut. That's for sure. DJ Lost and Found says, what WB cut out the depth because they needed to keep the time short. Yeah, they try to keep the time short and they try to soften it up for the kiddies. That's basically it. They try to Marvelize it pretty much. Furthermore, the masses will accept fun and folly over depth of character studies. And sadly, they were absolutely wrong, right? They ended up, DJ Lost and Found, they ended up realizing very quickly that when they did that, it actually caused a big backlash. DJ Lost and Found says, Zach's shots are far more superior to Joss. The angles, the lighting, CG, my goodness, bro. Exactly. Jacob Brazina says, John's sucks. I agree. He should not be. He is an advisor. He should stay an advisor. You know, even if he's writing scripts or whatever, I really, truly believe that he writes great comic book movies. He has good source material and all of that. But at the end of the day, I don't think he should be the guy actually making the final creative decisions because he has a history of not doing very well with that. Martin Sayboylov says it's a short amount of time they had. Short amount of time for what? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. For the CG. It does not matter, Martin Samoylov. The people are arguing that the Snyder Cut that has been presented or people are talking about as evidence for is inferior to that shit that came out. And it's not. That's the point. And I just gave you the hardcore facts. Now you could accept it or not, but don't make no apology for this. Short time. I don't give a shit. Why didn't they just leave the cut that they had? It was almost done anyway. Why are you going to reshoot? Huh? Short amount of time, my ass. Reshoot inferior products? Get the hell out of here. Martin, man, you guys just want to get a tongue lashing from me because, you know, I'm a bad motherfucker, man. I will blast you guys to kingdom come. Martin Samoylov. Yes, they did reshoots, but doesn't mean they have a Snyder Cut ready. Shut the fuck up. DJ Lost and Found. The reshoots have nothing to do with Snyder's original plan vision. We're not saying the cut is finished, but there's no denying that the cut is nearly finalized. Look, motherfucker. Sorry about this, DJ Lost calling you a motherfucker, but look, DJ Lost and Found. Everything that fucker reshot. I'm talking about Whedon. Almost everything except for the family stuff, which is his idea. Freaking Zack Snyder did already. And it was done already, finished. Like it was a finished cut of that. So why the fuck did they reshoot that? Don't get me started because I'm still angry about this. All right, I just showed you side by side, motherfucker. I just showed you side by side Whedon stuff and Zack stuff. In other words, Zack has a completed version of that stuff, and Whedon went and reshot that shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? It gets me pretty angry when these assholes come and say, "Oh, there's not a finished cut of Zack Snyder stuff." Well, motherfucker, If that's the film that they shot for the theatrical cut, Zack Snyder got that film down pat. If it was just 2 hours and a 2-hour film, Zack Snyder got the footage for that shit. He already shot it. And had it all post-production work and all of that done. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the additional stuff. And it's not a whole bunch of additional stuff that needs to be finalized in terms of post-production, which is probably done already. It's probably done already. Maybe at the point of time when they actually put out the theatrical cut, that stuff was probably already finished. That's what is getting me fucking angry, man. When these people talk about there's not a cut, it gets me pissed. It gets me very, very angry. It wasn't a finished cut, and yet we see Superman's deleted scenes with music, with score. Oh, it wasn't finished. Don't say that. Just shut up. Shut up already. Those of you trying to defend Whedon and Warner Brothers, just shut up already. And yes, they're trying to Marvelize the universe. That's where they're going. Don't try and bullshit us because you can't. Warner Brothers lied to us already. They lied to us. Now, whether they want to put out that cut or not, it's going to come out. It's up to them if they want to release it or if it will be released. But it will be released. That's why I don't give a flying fuck about anybody and what they say. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're trying to Marvelize the universe, DJ Lost and Found. That's why they're talking about bringing on, well, at least there's a rumor. I don't know if they want to do it, but there's a rumor. And the person who started the rumor is not a very credible source. Okay? All right? It's Umberto. And Umberto is a hater. So I don't know if that's true. But at the end of the day, it's a rumor that they're trying to bring Gunn in now. Which shows, again, they're trying to bring in Marvel directors to Marvelize the universe. That's the direction they're trying to go in. Which is why you're hearing these rumors about, oh, it's no longer called the DCEU. It's called the Woodcock. Woodcock? Are you serious? The world of DC? That's what you want to call it? And that's not true. They had a banner of the world of DC, which was there because it's been there since 2017. It's the same thing that they did to 2017. They brought back. All right. And I even see some of the so-called DC fans. They're trying to DCEU fans. You see them put in WODC. I'm laughing all the way because the Warner Bros. Never said that. They never put out any official statement. Their official statement about the DCEU is they're called DC Films. And Walter Hamada is the head of DC Films. They've never called it any particular name as in DCEU. That is true. Zack Snyder referred to it as a bigger universe. Jeff Johns mentioned the multiverse. But they never really said DCEU, but I like the name DCEU. I find it really cool. So I use it. All right, so moving on. I wanted to say that I don't want to go into much more in this video because there's more. I wanted to show you proof and evidence where Warner Bros. Is actually trying to go. I already kind of mentioned some of those things in this video, but also you just look at the trailers that they last put out, Aquaman and Shazam, and you will see they're trying very hard to Marvelize these films. Okay. And I don't think the actual directors, well, Shazam is a little bit different, but even Shazam is very unrealistic. You look at it, it's more of a comedy and there's a lot of humor in it. You know, I have to admit, they don't really make fun of the Shazam character, which is very good. Unlike what I saw with James Gunn's trailer where they made fun of Aquaman, undeservedly so. And they really tried to kind of slyly pass it off, but it was more of a Marvelized joke. Then I watched at Warner Brothers Home Entertainment what they put up on Twitter, which was uncalled for, which was a joke and it was in poor taste, you know, kind of slap back to DCU fans. Does, and they're trying to shallow down and water down their films, and they hope that the little kiddies will come in there and watch it. But they got to understand that little kiddies are accountable to their parents, and if their parents don't give a fuck about your universe, guess what? The little kiddies ain't gonna come. So you have to satisfy the parents first before you can get them kiddies inside of there. So what you need to do is stick to what you do best, Warner Brothers. You make good films with good, respecting the characters and having depth. And then when you want to add in a little bit of humor here or add in a little bit of that there, it's okay. But if you try to make a kiddie flick and you think you can get away with what Disney does, first of all, you're going to realize the media is not on your side. Second of all, you're going to realize very soon that the critics are not on your side. They're not going to say you made a great movie because of that, because there's already the MCU there. And they'll compare it to the MCU even more and say, oh, look how the MCU shines in this humor. Or DC's trying to be funny. Just like what they said with Suicide Squad and what they said with Justice League. So when I hear a lot of people say, well, Warner Bros. Is going to step in the right direction, don't listen to the bloggers. Don't listen to the critics. Because these fuckers are going to fuck you over. They don't pay for your movies. You have to listen to your fan base that actually put money into your movies. And if you say, fuck the fan base, we're going to find whoever we want. Okay, fine. Watch and see what happens. Not everybody can be in Twitter 24/7. Not everybody. Every people got jobs and they got things to do with their time. So you're going to find out just exactly how the DCU fan base feels about it. When you're going to hear the DCU fan base say they're trying to be like Marvel. Look at them. They're trying to be like Marvel. They're trying to copy Marvel and the success of Marvel. Fox didn't try to do it. Universal didn't try to do it. Sony's, of course, trying to do it. They're trying to ride off of Marvel's coattails. I wish them the best of luck with that. At the end of the day, that's a dumb idea. Very dumb idea. But they're going to try, and they think Disney's going to support them. They don't understand their universe. They try. Everybody who is affiliated with Disney is trying to see your universe fall. Don't you realize that? Look at the great job that Whedon did. He literally did subpar work on your movie. This is what you want. You want these kinds of people working with your movie? Fine. Fine, they'll run your universe down into the ground. You think you're doing the right thing? We'll see. Anyway, guys, this is what I had to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I showed you a lot of evidence to support what I just said. So it's not like I'm talking out of my ass like some people do. They try to make excuses and they talk out of their ass. They have no evidence to back up what they're saying. I don't do that. I talked to 2 other jackasses on Twitter recently as well. And they as well were trying to say, it doesn't exist. Well, they look like fools at the end of the day. And they walked away like fools. And that's what it's supposed to be. You don't come stepping up to me telling me I don't know about comic books and I should read a comic book. And yet I said, oh, I need to read a comic book. This is a guy who was telling me, the Aquaman trailer is according to the comics and how Aquaman looks and everything. I said, oh. And he says, you should pick up a comic book. And I laughed because it's like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know I've read a lot of Aquaman comics, right? So I said to him, okay, I need to read a comic book, right? When you step to me, you step correct. Show me where in the comics Mera insults Aquaman's intelligence. Show me that. You the Mr. Comic Book Man. Show me where that's so. And he tried to move around. He said, I'm going to consult my friends on that. I said, well, you have to consult your friends. You read comics, right? Haven't you picked up a comic and read? And I said, you ain't going, I'm not going to leave you alone. You're going to have to answer this issue before we could go anywhere else. Because he tried to go all over the place and avoid the question, right? Because he's trying to show that we are caustic fans and we don't really support the DCU and stuff. I said, shut the fuck up and show me you credible first. Step to the plate and show me in the comics where Mera has ever insulted Aquaman, his intelligence. Show me that, and then we can talk. Because you said this is exactly like the comics, and you said that, there's just 1 or 2 jokes in there, and it's okay to have jokes in there. And I said they are marvelizing the universe. So show me how that's in keeping with the character of Mera. Mera should act in the character she is. Mera is Mera. So we expect Mera to act in the character. There was this big outrage how Batman don't kill. But all of a sudden, when Mera starts making jokes, putting down Aquaman, when Flash Fates plants into Wonder Woman's breast, it's all well and good. Nobody's saying nothing about how it's not in accordance with the correct know-how. And the people who were in the production of the movie was protesting Whedon doing that. But all of a sudden, because it's a joke, it's okay. Fuck no. We take these characters seriously. And so if you don't like me using expletives, if you don't like me cursing you out, If you want me to see the trailers, okay, of Aquaman, or you want me to further be interested in the DCEU, don't do these things to the characters. They are no-nos. Don't do it to them. And especially don't do it just because you want to make a joke. All right? You're just picking up where Whedon left off. The same thing we did not like in the Justice League movie. And this is unanimously. There are very few people who defended this. Some of the people who defended this, they really ain't got a leg to stand on. They have no leg to stand on. Okay? So we just came out of Wonder Woman. And Patty Jenkins, by the way, she was happy when Joss Whedon left the DCEU. She actually liked the article. She, Zack Snyder, Clay Enos actually said good riddance, putting a song up, all right? Because the guy did damage to the DCEU. It's something that these other directors were trying carefully to work and maneuver around these characters to give them the shine and the due respect they deserve. And Aquaman also deserves that respect. And he was supposed to be this kind of feared, badass character. And we done made him into a joke. He's a fucking joke. And that's what pisses me off. Anyway, I should stop cursing and swearing. But at the end of the day, this is the kind of stuff we have to deal with. And they want to take that same character and put him inside of James Wan's movie. And I'm saying to you, and they made James Wan make some changes. So don't tell me they didn't make James Wan make some changes. After Justice League, they were trying to change up certain things James Wan did with his movie. Don't tell me they ain't doing that, because that's what they're trying to do. James Wan ain't got no protection. He don't have a Christopher Nolan. He don't have somebody to protect him. And the guy who's pushing that on is Jeff Johns. Jeff fucking Johns. So that's what's up. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a good one. We're going to keep it rolling. And we'll see what happens with these DCEU movies. But when it comes to release the Snyder Cut, at least we're going to get that. We definitely going to get that. And don't anybody telling me, oh, you need to go and watch the upcoming films and give them a chance. Fuck that. I'm going to give them a chance as much as I see in the trailers. So if they come out with an Aquaman trailer where, you know, I don't care about the rendering so much. The thing that really gets me is the look. If the look still looks MCU-ish, really MCU-ish, whether it's James Gunn idea or not, don't expect me to like it, okay? But more importantly, if they treat the characters with respect, if they allow James Gunn to give the respect due to the characters in spite of the swashbuckling adventure, I expect it to be a swashbuckling adventure, okay? He said that, kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, like Indiana Jones. I expect that stuff. What I don't expect, I expect to be an adventure film. What I don't expect from this film is for you to minimize the characters and also the seriousness and gravity. James Gunn comes from a horror directing. So you expect the movies to have that horror element. You expect those movies to have the depth that is necessary. However, James Gunn want to do his visual effects, fine. But I do believe that Warner Brothers has already tampered with this guy's stuff. And if they tamper with it, they need to back the fuck off and let's let him do his thing. Let James Gunn breathe and do his thing. I don't want to hear about no fucking data. I don't want to hear about your surveys. I don't want to hear about your feedback, Warner Brothers. Let the guy do his movie. And then afterwards, y'all can watch it. All right? Give your input if you want to, which he can or cannot accept. He must have a choice. Just like how Zack Snyder had his choice about killing Zod at the end of Man of Steel. Let the director do it. Even if it's a controversial movie, it's not going to bomb and flop like a compromise movie. The difference between Rian Johnson's still success in that, even though he had a flop, it didn't bomb, Star Wars made good money, was the fact that that was Rian Johnson's vision. You don't like his vision, then you give another director to do something else afterwards. When you give a director let a director get the flack. It's okay. He live and die by that guy. It's better if you live and die by that director. You make more money, at least, by living and dying by that director, than if You compromise that shit and have your fingerprints all over a movie when you don't know how to fucking make a movie. You're just going by market trends and surveys. Leave the fucking movie alone. Leave it alone. Leave the director alone. Let the director do what he do. And live and die by that. You got to do that. That's the risk you have to take. It's the most profitable risk you can take. Because you guys dabbled with BVS. You fucked up Zack Snyder. If it was supposed to be a fucking 3-hour long movie, let it be. Because it ended up being a better film. All right, guys, man. Sorry about the expletives once again, but I am still angry about this. And I'm angry that Warner Brothers is still pursuing a certain direction in spite of everything we give them. And I don't trust none of those motherfuckers in there. None of them. Because Toby Emmerich sold the idea that we were going to get Zack Snyder's vision. I even defended that idea until I saw the tons of information that showed me I was wrong. And there's a tsunami of information out there that shows you're wrong. And Zack Snyder himself comes out and starts to show that. That's when I totally started to realize. And I saw the writing on the wall with Steam Iron. What is it? Snow Steam Iron. I saw it. I saw the movie. I saw his frustration. I saw his anger about being manipulated like that. And how he was going to be crucified. I saw it in that movie. I even said to you guys, man, it looked like something else happened behind the scenes there with Zack Snyder. He's saying something. Junkie XL was there to do the soundtrack for that shit. I was like, And don't tell me Junkie XL didn't do no soundtrack. I don't believe that. I believe he was working on the soundtrack. What happened was, because obviously he was working on something with Gary Clark Jr., because he helped do that, music for that. So he was involved in every stage of the music surrounding what Justice League was supposed to get. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that 1 second. Anywho's people, man. That's what I wanted to say this morning. I may continue onwards with some more depth about what Warner Brothers seems to be going down the pathway they seem to be going down, which I just think they need to course correct as soon as they possibly can. But in the meantime, the things that you can do to take action here are the following. 1, sign the petition. If you haven't signed the petition, it's in the links down below. It's right below this video. You can do it right now while the video is going on. And also there's a link for instructions to sending snail mail. I gave you the Twitter handle for Fiona. Okay, click on it. You can go there, find the instructions, write the letter right now. Don't waste time. Write the letter right now. The more of you, we don't only need thousands of letters. If we can get millions of letters, that'll be even better. Just swamp Warner Brothers with all those letters. They let it throw away. They'll just pile up there. Just imagine they receive mail and these tons of just non-stop flow of letters coming at them. All right. And we'll stay tuned for the next move that we're going to do. All right. In the meantime, take action however you want. Be very vocal however you want to be. Just try and say things from facts. Don't try and say things which are not factually accurate. This is a problem I had with some of the Snyder Cut people. All right. And continue that passion and zeal. It's the passion and zeal that's important. Maybe you may be angry, maybe whatever, but keep that passion and zeal going. But always remember, it's a positive outcome we want. We want Warner Brothers to respect their directors. We want them to go in a direction that they started the ship with. The ship started on a note where these comic book characters were treated with respect because they represented something that was important. It's very important you treat your comic book characters with respect. Yes, some of them are given over to humor, but treat them with respect. Understand the Flash is a forensic scientist. This guy is more of a nerd. That means he should talk nerdy stuff. He should have nerdy language. He should have very specifics on quantum physics and, all of these things. He's a nerd, so he should be able to reflect these things. If we're not seeing that in the Flash and we're just seeing comic relief, who gives a damn about the Flash? I don't. All right. So that's all I got to say for now. I hope you guys enjoy your day. That's my update for the DCEU and the release of Snyder Cut. Continue taking actions in the link below. By the way, there are a lot of positive things happening in the background with this movement, and maybe I will talk about them when they come to light. I'm not going to talk about them now because it doesn't make no sense. I want them to come to fruition first, and then we'll talk about them some more. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys have a great one. I got to go out, hit the road. It's not very sunny today. It's very overcast, but I still got to do some work, put in some work, try to get some money on the table again so that when I have to pay out what I have to pay out, I can do it. I hope you guys have a great day, man. Stay positive. Don't let my cursing and swearing mean that I'm not a positive person. I am. I fall short of the mark, though, because I was somewhat angry just a minute ago. And I wish you guys a great day. Peace.